Mental health is no joke. This isn't a podcast to chat about it because everyone is talking about it. This is a podcast to talk about it because it is real shit. I've had my own personal journey with highs and lows, and it's been quite a ride. Over the years, I've gotten much better at being aware of what benefits my mental health and what hurts it. Today, I want to discuss why it's important that we speak up and 7 habits that I have found to be beneficial to my personal mental health. Just a disclaimer, I am by no means an expert. This episode is purely speaking from my own personal experiences. We all have beautiful minds. Let's learn to take care of them. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to It's the Bearded Man podcast with your favorite, the world's favorite bearded man, Babe. Each week on these solo podcasts, we dive into topics like lifestyle, wellness, and mindset. Now, do I have all the answers? Absolutely not. This is just my bearded wisdom that I hope brings value to you. Now, if you enjoy this episode at any moment in time, please screenshot this episode on whatever platform you're listening in on. Post it to your IG story. Tag me at Babe. That's B-O, 3 B's, 4 A's, and a Y. Share out the podcast in your IG story. Let me know what was the biggest takeaway. How did this specific episode change your perspective? I'd be very curious to hear. Also, it's extremely beneficial with spreading awareness to the actual podcast, and it helps get the word out about the show. Also, you might have some friends that are looking for a new podcast to listen, and when they see you post it out, they may be like, yo, thanks for the recommendation. I'm now going to go peep it. So please, if you enjoy this episode at any moment today, please share it out. Mental health. So a couple weeks ago, I was on a Sunday stroll in Santa Monica with this gal that I've been seeing for a few months. And she asked me, what is an organization or problem that you would like to help solve? I honestly had to think about it for a second because there are so many problems that need to be solved in this world. But for me, the one that I am most passionate about for sure is mental health. Mental health is a tricky topic. It's something that can't necessarily be measured from the outside looking in. It can oftentimes be very difficult to talk about or explain. And if it's not in good health, it will ripple into every area of our life and make it feel almost impossible to focus on anything else. If it's untreated, it can and has led people to taking their own lives, which is so sad and unfair to them and their loved ones. So before we continue on, let's just take a quick second to pause for a moment of silence for those who you may know someone has lost their life, and for those that have taken their own life because of mental health. Thank you. So let's be clear from the jump that I am by no means an expert. That anything that I talk about today is totally my opinion, okay? I like to joke around. I'm like the bearded man of this bearded wisdom. But truthfully, this episode, very specifically, this is just my opinion. And do not take it as advice from a professional. I'm just speaking from my own personal experiences. I can and will only ever on this podcast speak from personal experiences. I've dealt with my own mental health journey over the last 28 years, right? And what I'm starting to realize is it's a forever journey. My past experiences of low lows and high highs have taught me lessons that have helped shape me into who I am today, but it doesn't just end there. I'm very aware that mental health is something that I need to constantly be working on and keeping tab on. If I don't, it can lead me to a mental place that I don't want to be, which could be living in a low without any clear direction of how to get out of it, or living in a high where I think I'm on top of the world and I let my ego get the best of me. Both are a no-no for me. Now, some past examples of low moments for me was a heartbreak in college, or not being totally clear on the direction I'm going with my life when I felt like everyone around me had it all figured out. Missing family, getting shot down from women that I was seeking back to back to back, falling for the comparison trap and comparing my creative journey to others, etc. Some past examples of high moments for me include recording podcasts with guests that I worked years to get on my show, crossing off the Boston Marathon off my bucket list, going out partying really hard and having the time of my life with amazing people around me, having someone I'm extremely attracted to feel the exact same way about me, seeing TikTok videos of mine go viral, or having people I look up to on social media begin to follow me. I share these to simply give context that I have had my own fair share of moments on both sides of the spectrum. I think mental health is about finding ways to always stay in balance. I like to think of mental health like a commercial airplane flying from one destination to the next. There may be some turbulence that shifts that plane a little too high or a little too low, but the plane always finds a way to get back to a cruising altitude as soon as possible. Similarly with life, I try to always get back to my cruising altitude. When I experience a high, I embrace it, I enjoy it, but I don't soak too long in the glory. When I experience a low, I lean into it. I sit in my emotions, but I try to dig myself back up and not get stuck in a pity party. Easier said than done in both of these examples, yes. But can it be done? Absolutely. With May being Mental Health Awareness Month, I wanted to dive into some of the habits that I have found to be extremely beneficial in keeping my mental health in check. 7 habits for mental health. Number 1, daily sweat. It doesn't need to be a full 60 minutes, balls to the wall type workout. I just need space to sweat and clear the mind a bit daily. Workouts that work best for my mental health include running, lifting weights, and hot yoga. I do my best to get in usually 60 minutes every day, but some days I get less or just nothing at all. And when I do miss a day of working out, I apply something called the 2-day rule, which I learned from a creator by the name of Matt Diavello, which is I try never missing back-to-back days in a row, which helps me consistently show up over a period of time. So if I need a day off, I can give myself that day off, but I know the next day after that, I need to get back to working out. Yes, working out is commonly associated with physical fitness, but from my own personal experience, it's extremely beneficial to my mental fitness as well. During this time, I get to get off my phone, I bump music, and I focus on the task in front of me. Sometimes I unintentionally think of my greatest ideas while I'm not purposefully thinking about it. It kind of just happens to me because my unconscious is working in the background while I'm working out. And sometimes my greatest ideas come when I least expect it from some of these workouts. So habit number 1, daily sweat. Not only does it help my physical fitness, but also my mental fitness. Every day the workout may be different in what I'm doing or for how long, but I try to get in something. Number 2, meditation. I've been practicing meditation since I started to, pay attention to the self-development space right around the fall of 2015. While I was listening to all these incredibly successful podcasts, I saw one common theme amongst the guests. A lot of them meditated, so I decided to give it a try. 7+ years later, I still feel like I have barely scratched the surface, all the while seeing extreme benefits. Just 10 minutes of meditation per day has helped me live more in the present, think more optimistically, create more empathy for people, think more clearly creatively, not get attached to unwanted thoughts or narratives in my mind, not stress so easily as I used to, fall asleep faster at night, and so many more. I always recommend apps like Headspace, Calm, or YouTube videos if you're just getting started, or one that I've begun to recently use more is an app called Still Life. Even a 60-second meditation before podcasts that I jump into with guests or heading into a big event can really, calm my nerves and dial me in. Take all the above perks and my mental space is so much calmer and clearer on a day-to-day basis. So habit number 2, meditation. Just 10 minutes a day has allowed me to be more in control of my emotions like anger, jealousy, sadness, frustration, and more. It's also helped me become a better human in all different ways. Number 3, healthy diet. By eating healthy foods and making sure to hydrate my body properly, I am keeping my body running clean and efficient. When I eat foods like cheeseburger, pizza, and fries, or drink liquids like high sugar drinks or alcohol, I feel brain fog, less energy, and my mood can swing rapidly. When I eat foods like grilled chicken, salads, vegetables, or drink liquids like water, I can feel very clear in my mind, high energy, and my mood tends to stay very neutral. Of course, I slip up in here and there and make sure to enjoy my cheat meals, as I had that lovely ice cream last night with a little bit of Oreos on top and some caramel swirl, baby. It was delicious. But over the long term, I would say I try to eat and drink 80 to 85% clean if I'm really good. So I'm giving myself that ability to cheat and enjoy, those foods out there that I really want to enjoy. Now, is it easier said than done? Yes, but crucial, most definitely. Having a healthy diet doesn't make me invincible to low lows, but it sure allows me to bounce back much more quickly. I like to think of our bodies as a supercar that's just one of one. If we owned whatever that dream car might be, we would treat it with the utmost care and fuel it with the best stuff in the game. And I try to do the same with my body because it is for sure one of one. It's my own body, and this is what I've got, and I need to treat it with that care. So habit number 3, healthy diet. Eating clean foods, drinking liquids that are good for me help me keep a clear mind. Burgers, fries, high sugar drinks, or alcohol completely changes my mood, which impacts my mental health. Quick break from today's episode, and then we'll get right back to it. Today's episode is brought to you by the greatest hydration brand in all the land, Liquid IV. Now, if you're listening, or you're watching, I should say, I got my favorite flavors: tangerine, we got grape, we got watermelon. This product is an absolute game changer. I've been using it for the last 4 or 5 years. I use it every single day. It helps me feel hydrated, helps me feel good for my workouts. If I'm doing yoga, lifting weights, or going for a run, makes it feel fantastic when I'm about to jump into a podcast. When I'm going to write out the script of podcast episodes, helps me have a clear mind for thinking creatively. It really does help me in all aspects of my life, especially if I go out on the weekends and I kind of crank up the heat a little bit. This product can be an absolute game changer. I'm sure many of you have heard of Liquid IV. I'm not sure if any of you have tried it, but I hope this is the second that makes you want to try it, me talking about it. Liquid IV contains 5 essential vitamins: B3, B5, B6, B12, and vitamin C, with 3 times the electrolytes of traditional sports drinks, made with premium ingredients, non-GMO, free of gluten, dairy, and soy. This product is going to help you reach your potential. How do you reach your potential? By feeling the best version of yourself. In order to feel the best version of yourself, you need to not only feed yourself the right foods, but also fuel yourself with the right liquids. Water is fantastic. Adding Liquid IV with it makes it even fantastic 2.0. Bet you didn't know that was possible. Head over to liquidiv.com. Use my promo code TheBeardedMan, all one word, to get you 25% off every single order. Once again, that's liquidiv.com. Use my promo code TheBeardedMan, all one word, 25% off every order. I recommend tangerine, watermelon, and grape. There's other flavors, so don't, if you want to try something else, please do so. But I think it will help you guys and gals on your day-to-day life in whatever capacity that you may need it. So head over to liquidiv.com. Use my promo code TheBeardedMan, the greatest hydration brand in the world. Now back to today's episode. Number 4, expressing how I feel. Whether that's talking to someone, writing in a journal, speaking my mind on a podcast like this, or posting something on social media, I have seen extreme benefits in sharing what is on my mind. It is therapeutic, and it feels like I am taking 100 pounds off of my shoulders. I've gotten so used to it that I rarely allow these thoughts or feelings to sit in me for too long, because I need to express it somehow or some way immediately. Previously, that was not the case. I would let things sit inside me. It would bubble up. It would then ripple into other areas of my life because it was stored within me. I used to hear people say, "You are not alone," when it comes to feelings and emotions. And I honestly used to just brush it to the side and not give that statement the time of day. But the truth is, it is extremely true. Reminding myself this has allowed me to express these feelings outward, because most times I get feedback from someone who has been through something similar, which can be very helpful. It can also be very comforting to know your voice has been heard. And because of that, I continue to share as often as things need to be shared. What I found is that by expressing how I feel, I let out emotions or thoughts that could be just bubbling up in my head, and that could directly impact my mental health. So habit number 4, express how I feel. Whether that's talking to someone, writing in a journal, speaking my mind on a podcast, or sharing something on social media, it is crucial that I let out exactly what is on my mind. Number 5, becoming an optimistic thought coach. This has been much easier said than done, but through repetition, I think I've gotten much better than where I was when I first started. I try to do my very best to always pump optimistic and positive thoughts in any given situation, especially the moments when I need it the most, right? I get denied from a possible podcast guest. I think to myself, you got this, bearded man. Go ask the next person. I get shot down by a girl I may be interested in. I think to myself, it's a numbers game, Bobby. Keep shooting your shot. I might be allowing limiting beliefs to get the best of me. I think to myself, think about how far you've come. You are still just getting started. Now, those are 3 examples of me using optimistic thoughts to keep me going, to keep me feeling good. There was times in my life, and still sometimes I slip and I have those negative, pessimistic thoughts where you get internal and you start to just dig yourself into a deeper hole. It's not good. So this has been extremely crucial in keeping me going, even in those moments that I may feel like I'm at rock bottom. Mental health is a trip. There have been times where literally everything couldn't be going better and headed in the right direction, but somehow this beautiful mind of mine slips, and then I've somehow blocked out all the good in my life, and all of my focus and attention go towards that one bad thing. But that's the reality of mental health, at least from my own personal experience. That we can't control when it slips, but we can control how we react to it when it does. One of my tactics is being mindful of those words that I use to myself, which can make a big difference to how quickly I dig myself out of the hump. Always trying my best to cheer myself on and be my biggest supporter and hype man. So habit number 5, becoming an optimistic thought coach. Even when life is going perfectly, I can slip and fall into a dark hole. The best way for me to dig myself out is positive thoughts and self-compassion for myself. Number 6, edit my peers. I apologize, but I'm about to hit y'all with some truth that you may or may not have wanted to hear today. Many of you have probably heard of this quote by Jim Rohn, or many other people have probably been quoted before, and it goes like this: you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. One clear decision that I made when moving to LA in fall of 2017 was making sure that the only people that I kept in my circle were people that made me feel good by being around them. One common theme that I've seen in these people: negativity and pessimism is not part of their vibe. They simply do not have the time for it. They don't entertain it. They don't talk about it. And they don't talk about it about other people. It is scary. It's a scary reality, that it can have such a massive ripple effect on how we think about ourselves, the world, and our future based on these people that we are surrounded by the most. By being around positive and optimistic people, that energy is contagious, and I similarly try to think that way more often than not because that's what I'm around, that type of energy. Some of you may be listening right now and may only be surrounded by people that think the opposite, which makes it nearly impossible for you to think from an optimistic perspective. Get rid of these people immediately, and the sooner, the better. Our mental health may be something internal within us, but it most definitely can be thrown on or off course, depending on our peers and who we spend the most time with. So although mental health is very internal, external things like our peers can play a massive role on what that internal feels like for us. So habit 6, edit your peers by being very aware and taking note of how people make you feel. I'm then able to eliminate those who do not bring positive and optimistic energy into my life. And number 7, content consumption. What I mean by this is not how long I spend scrolling on TikTok or watching Netflix, which of course you want to have that in balance as well. But I mean, what type of content am I choosing to consume? I've noticed a huge difference in how I feel daily based on what I'm consuming in social media, or not social media, but just in media. Now, of course, it's good to carve out time to watch Ozark or Selling Sunset or laughing at the stuff that you probably come across on TikTok. But I try to be very aware of how much of my time is spent consuming content that is just purely entertaining versus content that is motivating, inspiring me, or teaching me something. I unfollow anything and everything that does not bring good or value into my life anymore. And it's not personal. It's just, I don't need to be following things and consuming things and keeping tab on things that are irrelevant to the life I'm living today. So examples might be someone I went to college with 5+ years ago that I haven't spoken to since graduation. I don't really need to stay in touch with them and follow their everyday life. So I just simply unfollow them, and it's nothing personal. It's just we moved on and we have different lives that we live now. A YouTube channel that pushes negativity into the world, I'll unsubscribe. IG accounts of people that talk down about others, I will unfollow them. You get what I'm trying to say. It's being very cautious of what I'm consuming and just cutting out all the stuff that doesn't bring any value to me. My time, energy, and attention is precious. I only have so much of it in a given day, so I try to be very mindful of what and who gets it. By being very cautious of it, I then can control my mental health by trying to only follow and consume things that make me feel good. So habit 7, content consumption. By being aware of what I'm consuming in the media, I can make sure my time, energy, and attention isn't going towards things that impact my mental health negatively. To recap, mental health is a unique and one-of-a-kind journey for every single person. Similar to books, when people say, don't judge a book by its cover, I try to do the same with people and how they feel, because I too have acted like everything is fine and dandy, even when things weren't good internal. I am by no means an expert, but I hope some of the personal experiences that I've shared today can help you in some way, shape, or form. Please know that whatever you're going through, you are not alone. Please, please, please reach out to someone if you are in need of help. And if you have no one, DM me, and I will try to do my best to help you in any way that I can. And that's at Bob A on Instagram, B-O, 3 B's, 4 A's, and a Y. 7 habits that help my mental health. 1, daily sweat. Not only does it help my physical, but also my mental fitness. Every day, the workout may be different in what I'm doing or how long, but I try to get in something. Number 2, meditation. Just 10 minutes a day has allowed me to be in more control of my emotions like anger, jealousy, sadness, frustration, and more. 3, healthy diet. Eating clean foods and drinking liquids that are good for me help me keep a clear mind. Burgers, fries, high sugar drinks, or alcohol completely changes my mood, which impacts my mental health. Excuse me. Number 4, express how I feel. Whether it is talking to someone, writing in a journal, speaking my mind on a podcast like this, or sharing something on social media, it is crucial that I let out exactly what is on my mind. Number 5, becoming an optimistic thought coach. Even when life is going perfectly, I can slip and fall into a dark hole. The best way for me to dig myself out is positive thoughts and self-compassion for myself. Number 6, edit your peers. By being very aware and taking note of how people make me feel, I am then able to eliminate those who do not bring positive and optimistic energy into my life. Number 7, content consumption. By being aware of what I'm consuming in the media, I can make sure my time, energy, and attention isn't going towards things that impact my mental health negatively. Challenge for the listeners. Take 10 minutes within the next 24 hours to consider your own mental health. Are you carving out time for habits that make you feel good? Have you procrastinated cutting out habits that make you feel bad? Take some time to be honest with yourself about it and make those necessary adjustments moving forward. And remember, changing habits, whether removing one or adding one, it's small daily decisions that will add up in time. So don't expect the overnight success to come, but just continuously remind yourself one day at a time. Pod review of the week. We did not have the pod review for this week. If you'd like to be next week's pod review, head over to the iTunes podcast app, leave a 1-word or 1-sentence review if you listen to the podcast on iTunes. If you're a Spotify listener, we just hit 100 reviews. Love to see that. Right under the icon of the actual podcast logo, you will see a 4.9 out of 5-star rating. Let's go. So if you could, and you're listening on Spotify, please leave a review today. That helps grow the show tremendously, and I greatly, greatly appreciate it. Once again, it is Mental Health Awareness Month. If this podcast helped you in any way, shape, or form, please screenshot this episode on whatever platform you're listening in on. Post it to your IG story, tag me at Bob-A, B-O, 3 B's, 4 A's and a Y. Share the podcast in your IG story. Let me know what was the biggest takeaway. How did this episode change your perspective? I'd be very curious from all the habits we discussed. Is there one you're going to maybe incorporate into your life? But please, please, please share that out today and let me know what was the biggest takeaway. That is it. Episode 193, Mental Health Habits, Express How I Feel, Becoming an Optimistic Thought Coach, Edit My Peers, and Content Consumption Awareness. It's the Bearded Man Podcast. See ya.